Morning.
Morning.
I'm the big bleeper,
I'm the little bleeper.
and it's not very cold this morning in Melbourne. It's 15 degrees inside the house, so it was actually quite easy to get out of bed this morning.
We are
Oh yeah,
the bleepers
on a couch
drinking coffee.
talking about small business. So today,
Today's topic is, what is my unique value proposition or selling proposition, or a few different ways to put it.
Yeah, unique selling benefit or unique selling position. Different people call them different things.
But almost always we come across people who don't even know what this is.
Yeah.
So,
and I think
which is amazing.
I think this is a real trap for people, because when you're selling something, and this is my 30 years sales experience, it's much easier to sell something that's different than it is to sell something that's the same. So as soon as you sell something that's the same, everybody's just going to say, well, I want to look at everyone else. But as soon as you sell something that's different, then they've got to make a decision on that one thing. So in the 22 Immutable Laws of Marketing, those absolutely brilliant lads that wrote that book, they talk about there's always only two, and everyone else underneath them falls away. And so they say you've got to find what makes you different. In actual fact, if you can't be number one or number two in your category, create a new category. Go and create something brand new. So we did this with real estate. We had a look at real estate. We couldn't be number one or two in our category because we were just too small. So we actually created a new way of doing it, which actually works really well. So let's have a look at what this actually means. So the first thing you need to check out is, am I communicating my USP to my customers? So in all your advertising, everything you do and everything you say, are you actually sharing clearly with your customers what you actually do? So why you are different. And that's really important, because that sharing from the beginning is where it actually sets you apart. So if we look at a really obvious example, Kmart versus Apple. Kmart, their USP is cheap prices. And you could possibly say everything's there. So you go to Kmart, you can get everything. All right? Well, Apple doesn't compete on that level. Apple competes on design. That's their USP. So Apple says, we don't care about price. If you can't afford our product, that's unfortunate for you. But we're only going to build the best we can possibly build.
And Apple customers never really think about the price of something.
No.
Though the actual price of what they're thinking about buying, because they love what they're getting so much.
Yeah.
That it well outweighs what you got to pay for it.
Yeah. Now the evidence is in the pudding. Apple is the most profitable company in the world, like bar none. So, well, actually that might not be true. It might be in technology products. I think it's bar none. Anyway, so I'd have to check that.
That's a question for Google.
I will Google that later. But what's important is that the Apple-Samsung battle, Samsung makes a phone, for all intents and purposes, just as good as Apple. The reality, though, is that they also make a whole lot of phones that are a lot cheaper. And so they've ended up in the battle against other Android phones rather than a battle against Apple. And Apple just wins every time when it comes down to quality and design.
I think they've tried to be number one. Like, they've
Make
tried to
a better product?
Yeah, than Apple, but they just can't do it.
Well, that's a personal opinion. I've got plenty of friends that will never, ever have an Apple. They swear by Samsung. But the reality is that Apple's got the numbers on the board. They sell fewer phones, they make more profit, so they're not battling on price. They've found a way to get the USP to design, and people value that, and they'll pay for it. Okay, so the next question is, what is different about what I do? So how do you hold yourself out as someone different? Now let's take someone like a plumber, for example. A plumber has a real problem, and that is that everyone thinks a plumber is a plumber is a plumber. If I hire Fred down the road, he'll be exactly the same as Jack up the road. So
And again, when you see an ad for a plumber, there's really no way to determine which one to pick.
Yeah.
You see a little ad in the classifieds, you go, oh, I don't know who to pick. So
Yeah.
you just start ringing down the list.
Yeah. So there's two sides to this. The first side is when you're running a business, you've got to have what we call the necessities. So you've got to have the things, if you're going to be a good business, you've got to have the things that are absolutely necessary. You've got to be prompt. In other words, turn up on time. You've got to be able to complete your job in a timely manner. You've got to be polite. All right? You've got to be able to offer value. All right?
Yeah, they're kind of your not negotiables.
Yeah, and if you don't have them, you're actually falling into being a bad business. All right? So then we move to things that we can do that are over and above the necessities. And what are some of those?
Okay, the over and aboves. Off the top of my head, you could offer a guarantee.
Yeah, that's a really good one. So a lot of businesses are afraid to offer a guarantee because they
always equate it to losing money.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Know why. It's just a
if
weird mentality.
If you can offer a guarantee, offer a guarantee. People love guarantees. What's the next one?
The next one is you could have the cheapest price.
Yeah.
A little bit of a dangerous one.
Yeah, danger, Will Robinson, because you end up in a race to the bottom against the other guy who wants to be the cheapest. I actually prefer not to take that route. And
with especially with online platforms and stuff, the cheaper, they're just going to find the cheaper one. So if you say you're the cheapest and then you're not the cheapest, then you lose a lot of credibility, which should be in the necessities list. For for one of the things you should have.
Yeah.
As soon as you lose credibility then you lose trust, it's all downhill from there. So, as I said, that's a dangerous one, but it is one nonetheless. And you could, if you produce something or you make your own product or you bring in your own product, you use the best material, so it's quality.
Yeah, chasing that quality label is
again another hard one.
It's a hard one, but it's a great one.
But
if you can communicate it well,
it's still alive and well. The quality, one.
Well, we're doing that with our nightshirts, so we're going after quality with the nightshirts.
And another one is like a 24-hour service or callback or free follow up. Make sure your job's good, and you're happy.
Yeah, well, people like to know that they're going to be looked after. So, all right, I've paid for this job. So, obviously, as a plumber, I'm not a plumber. I don't know anything about being a plumber. So, if you're a plumber out there listening and you're laughing at me, I understand, no problem. But I presume a lot of your work comes from builders. You either work with a particular builder or you subcontract across several builders. Obviously, a builder's going to want these necessities all ticked, but if you can offer him guarantees on your work and that's going to save him money and you wear the cost of any mistakes, that's going to get you more work.
Well, I think the takeaway for tradies, any tradies, plumbers, whatever, for this podcast is that you're a very reactive industry coming from a consumer of 30 years. You get up in the morning and then you go, when the phone rings, I'll do something. We talked about systems a couple of podcasts ago. If tradies adopted a little bit more of a system about what they do when they get a customer and take them through a process that's already planned out, all you have to do is follow the steps. You'll end up being able to achieve a lot more of this a lot easier.
Yeah.
Because when we have talked about before, businesses, what they look like in 2020, you guys are going to be all star rated and you're going to get business or lose business or go out of business
on star rating.
On those star ratings. Yeah. So
if you have a 3-star rating, you will not get calls. It's that simple.
This is kind of a
we are saying it now.
A pre-plan for you to start thinking about how you could do things differently to ensure that you're going to have 100 reviews and a 4-star or 4.5-star rating. Yeah,
by 2020, if you're in business, you need to be, is exactly right. You need 100 reviews in Australia. So in America, it's going to be like 400 or 500. but in Australia it's 100. So we're a couple of years behind America, and you're going to need to be, if you're a business that has high turnover, you're going to need to be in the low 4s.
Yeah.
And if you're like a restaurant or a cafe, and if you're a business that doesn't have quite so high turnover, like a tradesperson or something, you're going to need to be in the very high 4s, so like 4.7 plus.
Yeah.
So if you're under 4.7,
well, it depends.
People are going to just go to the guy that's 4.8 or 4.9.
It does depend on your competitors, but yeah, you got to look at the 4s. And you've also got to remember that this is a time issue as well. The credibility we were talking about before comes from having reviews over time. So if you've got a 5-star rating and 10 reviews, they're not going to choose you. They're going to choose the 100 reviews that are 4.5, 4.6 over you, because you've got more cred. You've been in business longer, even though you could have been in business like literally decades longer than this guy we're talking about, but it doesn't matter online.
No.
It does not matter.
They don't really care. If you've got a low rating, that's going to be where their head's going to go. All right, so let's finish off with...
we've got an example.
Yeah, tell the example.
Supermarket example, because everyone goes to supermarkets, so it'll be really easy to understand.
Yeah, so these are 3 businesses exactly the same, and yet they position themselves differently.
So first one is Coles, and they are lowest prices every day. So their value proposition is...
a lie.
We have the lowest prices every day, which is a lie, but that's beside the point.
Yeah.
You keep pushing that lie, people believe it.
Yep. And we personally have decided that is a lie, so we only go there for the things we need.
And to be fair, they do have a core range that is possibly cheaper than all of the supermarkets. But that's only a core range. It's not across the whole thing. But your value proposition, when you read it, you think, well, that's across the whole thing. So, anywho, Woolworths is
fresh food people.
We are the fresh food people. So they are owning...
well, they're going after quality.
Yeah.
And they want, for people that consider fresh food more important than price.
Yeah.
And
just because I have to add a little bit about branding, because that's what I love... Coles is red and white, so the sale sign, lowest prices every day. Woolworths, the fresh food people, a green apple, curvy, lovely apple. Again, staying within the realm of their unique selling proposition. They're the fresh food people. And then Aldi is smarter shopping.
Yeah.
So they have a system in store that allows their store to run a lot less staff, which means you pay less and you pack your own groceries. And they actually thought of a new system in store. Woolworths and Coles really run the same system. Aldi came up with a different way to lower their staff, so you actually pay less on food. So they have fewer choice, and they're basically saying if you're smart, you will shop at Aldi.
Yeah. Very good tagline.
They do have the whole every Thursday a new line of stuff comes out every week, which obviously brings a lot of people to the store. I, for one, just have an Aldi food list that I just go and get what I want. I don't really want to be taken in by all the stuff that comes in all the time. It's different, but people love that catalogue, and it obviously works for them. But it's not even though it is unique to them, they don't advertise that. Yeah. So it's just an added way they've got, obviously, to get people through the door. So to try and get them to forget about Coles and Woolworths.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure whether they're trying to chase the number 1 and 2 position, but I dare say that's a good goal for them.
Don't know.
So
they might be very happy in position 3.
And again, their colours for their logo are a little bit more corporate looking. So blue, red, yellow, white.
Yep.
And they're saying smart.
Yep. Alrighty. Well, there you go. Value proposition. What is yours? How do you distinguish yourself differently from other people?
Yeah.
I'm the big bleeper.
I'm the little bleeper.
You guys have a fantastic day.
Bye.